Hey everyone, it's Justin here, Voices for Voices. Thank you for tuning into this episode of the show. We're grateful to have you with us. 100 countries, 1,000 cities across the world. We're reaching a lot of people, and that is only because of you. So thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And we are one episode closer to reaching that milestone of a total of 400 episodes of our Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. So thank you for that. Thank you for sharing and sharing and sharing some more. Those are all free things you can do. They really help us. If you could subscribe, if you can give us thumbs up, if you can, again, like, share, subscribe, follow, not just the show, but all of our socials. We're everywhere. We do TikTok lives from time to time. Uh, we do those more than the Instagram lives and the Facebook lives. So that's really where you're going to get your information. It's from our social media accounts when we make announcements and from our show. And you are correct. If if you think my voice sounds a little bit different, I have a little bit of something, a little bit of a cold, I guess. But everything's a-okay, and just wanted to recognize that I recognize that. So nobody's worrying. Everything's all good on this front. We hope everybody who celebrated Christmas and any other holidays, they're happy and healthy and prosperous in the best way for you and your loved ones. And we're just, again, just humbled to be here. Yeah, I've been wearing this scarf for quite a few shows. It's kind of comfortable. Um, where we film some of our episodes, it gets a little bit chilly, so it's a, it's an accessory that pops a little bit off of the black uh, branding outfit, which uh, people sometimes ask, why do you have a lot of black clothing? And it's for the brand, the Voices for Voices brand, the Justin Allen Hayes brand. And it really goes back to if you watch concerts, like musicians and playing, a lot of times they're wearing all black. And one of the big reasons they do that is they don't want people to be recognizing them as much for what they're wearing, for some bright colors, bright prints, uh, real bulky earrings and ton of makeup and all those things and hats and gloves and all that. Sometimes it could take away from the music experience. And so that's what we have picked up on that for our shows. So yeah, a lot of them are we're wearing, black with black logo, black voices, or the black beanie, or the black uh, ball cap with the white stitching of the Voices for Voices logo. But yeah, we would just really hope everything is good on your home front. Um, you had safe travels if were doing any traveling, or if you're just now starting to travel. There's some parts of the country, for those of us living in the United States, that uh, yeah, it was a little bit icy uh, last couple of days, and so we just want people to be safe on the roadways if that is or has been in your plans, or maybe it's upcoming, because we know a lot of schools there, they have like their their 2 week break or right around there. And so some of you may be getting ready to travel. So uh, again, you don't have to be a believer of God or Jesus Christ. I am, and so I'll continue to pray for not only me and my family, but the whole world. And that includes everybody. We want everybody again to be safe and healthy and prosperous and to just be enjoying life as much as possible. And so thank you. We're glad to be with you on this show. We are the hottest show behind the Joe Rogan Experience. Uh, it's 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 an honor to be even talked about in the same sense, like with the Joe Rogan Experience show. There's way more episodes and way more of a household name. But Voices for Voices is it's growing. It's it's literally growing on a literally a second by second basis, minute by minute, hour by hour. And we only have you, our fans, our followers, our listeners, our viewers. Uh, we're, like I said, hitting 400 episodes here shortly. Uh, so if you subscribe and download all of our episodes, you're going to find a lot that you're going to have an interest in the topic and the guests and all those together. And uh, we're set out here for reaching the total 400 episodes. And I'll just remind everybody, in case this is your first episode, we, as an organization, we were planning early in the year, in calendar year 2025, that we were going to achieve the goal of 300 total episodes. And we literally just knocked that one out of the park. Uh, and so it's really an incredible feeling to not just meet a goal, but go over so much. And you can watch and listen to previous episodes where we talk about, goal setting and a lot of goal settings in a lot of different workplaces. A lot of time spent on not achieving, not doing enough. And like there's some phobia or something for telling somebody they did a good job and thanks for jumping in on this project when we needed all hands on deck to help. Uh, so we're going to jump into a little bit of what has occurred uh, the last 2 weeks, I guess, to be inclusive. So what we did as an organization, Voices for Voices, we're registered. We got the R with the circle around it, so we're registered, and it's one of the biggest things that an organization or a product or service can do is not just to be trademarked, the TM, but to be registered. So it actually goes TM for trademark and then register. So register is a higher distinction. And so Voices for Voices is protected with that registration, that R with a circle around it. Uh, and what we ended up doing, one of the actions we took last week, or within the last 2 weeks, is we wholly acquired, and I always have to preface this that it's wholly as in WHOLLY, just meaning as a whole, we, Voices for Voices, acquired mythical creatures around the world. So what that means is any posts, uh, social media posts, anything that uh, has mythical creatures around the world on it is now protected with the same protections afforded to us at Voices for Voices. And so that's brought up a little bit of um, a little bit of why we're having this episode is because we're going on the record. We've been on the record, but we're going to continue to do this because we want to make sure everybody knows. We don't want anybody to be like, oh, I didn't know this, and so we're laying it out, and so that's why we've had a couple shows earlier, a couple TikTok lives. We're going to be hitting up TikTok live after the filming of this show and covering a little bit of the content that we're sharing now. So what that means is so mythical creatures, right? So there's different social media posts and the way mythical creatures around the world, Facebook page predominantly, but uh, it doesn't have to be just through Facebook. It can be any social media channel. It could be, uh, yeah, it doesn't just have to be from the Facebook page. And so there have been social media posts in the past where some individuals have taken it upon themselves to either A, copy and paste the social media posts and make that into a book or some form of product and or service that they are selling and have sold and have made a lot of money. And that's without uh, crediting mythical creatures around the world. That's without crediting David Solomon, his mother. And so we have this situation where up until now, up until that acquisition, it could be argued that, well, we don't we didn't see any trademark or anything along those lines. And so we thought that it was fair game that we could go, utilize their content. And so by Voices for Voices, by us acquiring mythical creatures around the world, that means now, actually, when the agreement was signed, which was about a week or two ago, uh, that means it's copyright infringement to have any content out anymore right now. So as soon as we acquired, like the very instant we acquired mythical creatures around the world, anybody who plagiarized, copy and pasted posts into their stories, into products and services that they have sold over the years, the many, 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 many years, making lots and lots and lots and lots of money. Um, so all that fun has been halted because we acquired mythical creatures around the world. And so we mention this number one because if you go to Mythical Creatures Around the World Facebook page, and probably because of yeah, I probably won't be able to see, but if you go to the Facebook page of Mythical Creatures Around the World, look in the description, of the profile. And it says, in quote, learn about mythical creatures from around the world in the ones in your own towns and cities. Mythical creatures from around the world is wholly owned by Voices for Voices. So that's right. Or maybe you can see a little bit. And so that right there is just another way where we're communicating to everybody, the general public, uh, private followers, public followers. And so that's what we wanted to share, that, the fun is up for people who have, again, whether they did it knowingly or unknowingly, right now, it doesn't matter because we own mythical creatures from around the world. So it doesn't matter if you thought this or you thought that. And so any book that is on the shelf, any product is on the shelf, any service is being sold that has any plagiaristic qualities linking mythical creatures around the world could be considered copyright infringement. And so Morgan Busey, Busse, Morgan Busey, Busse, Morgan Busey, Busse is one of the top, and I believe that she is one of the top, if not one of the top, she is the top plagiarizer of mythical creatures around the world, meaning she has pulled a lot of content and is saying, yep, this is open source information, so I can just use it as I want. Well, not anymore. So, not just Morgan, anybody else that's watching and listening that finds out through this show, and you have gone and you have used any post, any folklore, any myths, if you're copying and pasting, literally plagiarizing, and I've been a teacher on the collegiate level for over 10 years. So I know a little bit about, copying and pasting and bringing in things without sourcing them. So I'm not stupid. I'm not dumb when it comes to this. Uh, so Morgan, like we've mentioned before, and others, but we're going to be dropping here another individual that over the years has not been doing the correct methods of sourcing and crediting individuals. So first off, so Morgan, like we've mentioned before, we're giving you 90 days, or we're giving until the end of March for you to come out publicly and to share that you have plagiarized mythical creatures around the world, and that now it's up to you, wherever your books are sold, wherever your products or services are sold that have plagiarism from mythical creatures around the world. We're giving you until the end of March, March 31st, to not only share that you have plagiarized, so it's time to face the music, and it's time for you, since you did plagiarize, it's time for you to pull all the books, all the services, all the novels, whatever you have that is in a place of business that could be sold for your profit needs to be hold immediately. Okay? Am I making myself clear? I really hope so. Because this is copyright infringement. It might seem minor, it might seem which might seem small, but when you're copyright infringing off of a business, off of people, and you're number one, you're just doing it. You're not contacting the person who runs the site to say, "Hey, I'm thinking about doing a project, and can I use this?" That communication was never done, number one. And number two, when you did it, you didn't credit mythical creatures around the world and or David Solomon and or his mother. So that's on you. When you're a creator, it's up to you to do the due diligence. It's not up to us. So Morgan and others that are out there, this is this is our public relations. We've already given some announcements. This is going to be the last announcement that we're going to give, and then it's up to you, Morgan and others, to make the right decision. And then lastly, before we call it a wrap on this show, there is actually I'm gonna take a drink of water here. I'm getting a little bit dry. So Davin Anderson, okay? This is an individual years ago that did some work with David Solomon, where David Solomon did some of the work. So let's get right into it. So Davin Anderson worked with David Solomon in the vampire syndrome content. David Solomon created a folklore for the vampire syndrome. He mentioned that Davin Anderson mentioned that he would credit him mythical creatures around the world in the back for the folklore that was in the book. Well, at the end of the day, in the vampire syndrome, the David Solomon created a folklore for Davin Anderson, who's also made quite a bit of money. He did not credit mythical creatures around the world. He did not credit David Solomon. And multiple people know this, so this may be news to some, and others may be like, "Oh no, oh crap, how do they know this?" Well, so multiple people know about this. Secondly, Davin Anderson said he would credit David on the vampire cat. Davin did not credit David Solomon, did not credit mythical creatures around the world. And in this particular case, the vampire cat, David Solomon completed the art, the artwork, and the story. and got no credit for that. So that's kind of a little bit of plagiarism, wouldn't you say? Where we're taking information from a person, from an entity, and being told, "Yeah, we got you. We got you." And then at the end of the day, the work comes out, and Davin Anderson did not credit David Solomon or mythical creatures around the world and the vampire syndrome, which David created the folklore for. So that's like the story part. And also in the vampire cat, where Davin said, "Oh yeah, David, yeah, I'll credit you. I'll credit you." And he didn't. And the vampire cat is a work where David did not just the artwork, he did the story as well and got zero credit. Zero credit. So Davin, we're now reaching out to you in a public forum. We understand there's quite a significant number of sales that have occurred over the years for but one or both of these titles, and you did not credit where credit was due. And so that's called copyright infringement as well. So Morgan kind of did it one way, and she uh, may have done some work the same way Davin had, where David or mythical creatures, and I don't know this for a fact, so I'm just saying I don't know if Morgan Busey, Busse, I don't know if she ever told David she would credit him and didn't, but she didn't and she hasn't. And her work has come up as one of the highest percentages of plagiarized work off of mythical creatures around the world. So we're talking to you, Morgan, and we know there's a lot more out there. And so we're just asking that you do the right thing. You stand up, you face the music, come out publicly, and then we'll talk. Because it doesn't stop there. It's not like, oh, I come out with a statement and then everything's fine. No, it's not. The right thing to do, the ethical thing to do, is to tell your fans, your consumers that basically bought a faulty product under is a bait and switch, where they thought they were getting a Morgan Busey or a Davin Anderson book and story original. Come to find out that it's not. And again, having been for over 10 years a collegiate and university instructor, I know what crediting looks like, where when you quote certain aspects, the name, the publication, the date, you know, there's ways to handle this without having it get to this point. And it got to this point, and we're at this point. And so, same thing with you, Davin. Any vampire syndrome and vampire cat books need to be pulled immediately from shelves of wherever you're selling. It's up to you to figure that out, not us. So Morgan, Davin, and whoever else is watching, listening, tell your friends and family and colleagues that you've been called out on one of the hottest top TV show and podcasts across the world, which is Voices for Voices. So when we talked about before, and we continue to talk about that we're a clean alternative to some of the work and some of the backhanding that's gone on, which is basically what this is with Davin. He basically is backhanding David and saying, "Hey, screw you. I'm going to tell you I'm going to credit you. I'm going to tell you I'm going to credit you, and then I'm not going to do it. And then there's going to be no repercussions." So before we leave, Davin, it's your turn to face the music too. Come out publicly, share, talk about how you did not credit David Solomon, mythical creatures around the world, and the vampire syndrome, and the vampire cat. Multiple people know about this, Davin. This isn't something that one person knows, and multiple people know about this. So you can run, but you can't hide when there's multiple people that are aware of this still to this day. So Morgan Busey, the clock is starting, 90 days. We're giving you actually 90 days plus a few days. Um, and for your involvement in plagiarizing mythical creatures around the world Facebook post claiming to be yours, whatever, up until the time of the acquisition, before the acquisition, but now with the acquisition, since Voices for Voices have acquired mythical creatures around the world, now every single book that's on the shelf, every single work that is in the store that you plagiarize for mythical creatures around the world needs to be taken off immediately. And then we'll talk about how we handle the back sales that you had since you published up until now. Because it's not just taking them down and saying, "Oh, I'm sorry." No, you're not getting off that scot-free. Nope. And it's a shame. It's really a shame that we have to go to this level, that we have to go the legal route, that we have to do this. But nothing else has worked. Nothing else has worked. People think they can just get away with things and not have to, and think it doesn't concern them. Times are changed. They're not changing. Times have changed with this acquisition that we made. And then last but not least, I'm just going to go through Davin, Davin Anderson, Davin Anderson consulted and worked with David Solomon and mythical creatures around the world on a book titled Vampire Syndrome, where David created a folklore and Davin said he would credit David and mythical creatures around the world. So that's one book. And again, multiple people know about this, Davin. So this isn't one of these one-offs. So basically lying and then copyright infringing on vampire syndrome, Davin. You're caught. In Vampire Cat, a book where David Solomon did the art and the story. Davin Anderson said he would credit David and mythical creatures around the world. At the end of the day, books are out there. They've been out there. They've been selling, and there's no credit to David Solomon and mythical creatures around the world. So we don't like doing episodes like this. This is not, it's not fun. It's not enjoyable. But the way in which business has been handled, and at least these two individuals, Morgan and Davin, we're giving you the same time range to come out publicly to your followers or consumers and tell them that you stole, which is basically what plagiarizing is. And especially when you tell somebody who wrote the story, who drew the artwork, that is just, it's not right. But we're going to make it right. You went there, you went there with vampire syndrome and vampire cat, Davin. So we're going to go there with the copyright infringement. Morgan, you went there with quite a bit of your work. So there's copyright infringement. Thank you for joining us on this episode of the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. Again, we ask if you can give us thumbs up, if you can hit that subscribe button, if you can share, if you can follow. We would love that. And those are free things to do. Free, FREE. And share the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. We do have a publishing arm of Voices for Voices titled Voices for Voices Publishing, where we have 6 books, I believe, now available. So if you want to head over to Amazon, especially for individuals, the ones you're going to want to look for is a search for Drake Colton. That is DrakeColton, youngest author on the planet that we're aware of, 9-year-old author. Ryan Solomon, which is David Solomon and his wife Amanda's son. We have The Young Siren Born, that David did the artwork and the story. We have, and The Young Siren Born is Young, Youngsiren, and then Born. That's how you spell The Young Siren Born. The Adelan is the first comic book that's ever written by the hottest author on the planet, which is David Solomon. And you spell the Adelan, obviously, the THE, and then it's Atalan. That is Atalan. One more time, Atalan. So grab a copy wherever you do your shopping. download all of our shows, over 390. Again, you've heard the story. We're hitting 400. We're knocking on the door, and we're going to continue going much, 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 much longer than that. Uh, and so hopefully me or our organization and David and his son Ryan, 9-year-old author, his wife Amanda Solomon is an incredible author and creator and editor. Uh, so we just want to that was also just let you know that we are Voices for Voices. We're a 501(c)(3) nonprofit charity organization, and so any purchases of any of our books, any donations are 100% federally tax deductible if you live in the United States. If you don't live in the United States, we still uh, welcome you. You just have to double check with the laws and the tax laws and the areas that you live. So make sure that you have a good understanding there. Uh, we're helping people. We're going to help even more. Finishing out 2025, and then we're going to hit the year 2026. We're going to hit that running, and we can't do this without you. So let everybody know that you know about the Voices for Voices TV show and podcast. Share the information about Morgan Busey, Busse, and Davin Anderson of lifting content using David Solomon, using mythical creatures around the world, and not crediting in books that have sold a lot. When I say a lot, I mean a lot. It, it's this is these individuals' livelihoods, and so we'll just leave it there. So until next time, this is Justin Allen Hayes with Voices for Voices. We have nothing but love for everybody that's watching and listening. Uh, thank you so much for being a part of Voices for Voices. Even if you're just watching for a few seconds, thank you so much. It means the world to us to help with our brand awareness, brand recognition, and that we have wholly acquired mythical creatures around the world. So individuals like Morgan Busey and Davin Anderson. Uh, Again, the end of March is going to be key. Uh, and again, we don't like having shows like this where we have to talk through what's been going on, but we're transparent, and so we think that's in our best interest as well as the public, as well as these individuals' best interest to know exactly what's going on, so they're not getting eighth hand information. And we'll see you on the next show. Take care. We love you.